People always wondered when World War III would happen. When would it happen? When would it happen? It seems it's already started. Come on, our objective is to defend the American people by eliminating alien threats from the Iranian regime. The most shocking news in news strikes is that Israeli strikes have killed Iran's Supreme Leader Khamenei. Supreme Leader Dalai Lama, Supreme Leader of Iran, is dead. But the funniest thing in this entire dark situation is that no matter what's happening in the world, it's Pakistan that's suffering. People kill clashes as people storm the US in Pakistan. Supreme Leader Wall. This is a new video from that protest. Pakistan is basically like the English language on Big Boss. Regardless of who wins the screaming match in Big Boss's living room, it's the English language that loses. So, in all of this, a question arises again. Is this major conflict in which Iran has been attacked? Their supreme leader has been killed? There's been a strike in Dubai. There's been a strike in Oman. There's been a strike in Saudi Arabia. The entire Middle East feels like it's burning right now. Could this escalate into a world war? Could China and Russia, Iran's allies, get involved? And if so, what role will India play? Let's find out in today's video. Hello, welcome to Past Console. So, there's a simple rule of the world. No matter how much you scream, shout, make videos, or tweet, ultimately power is respected in the world, and displays of power are respected. Guiknis recibes no simpesi. The country that makes itself powerful progresses. The country that adopts new technology controls the narrative. It is this country that makes itself stronger. And that's why the biggest weapon in today's time isn't just tanks and missiles, but also technology, data, and AI. Interesting news is that strikes have taken place in all the countries that banned the film Durandar. Interesting news is that after Khamenei's death, Indian Muslims are in deep mourning. Watch this video. It's not from Tehran, it's from Lucknow. People are shouting slogans like this. It will turn out the same situation is prevailing in Kashmir. Those whose generations are treacherous, they have treacherously killed my flaws. No, my lion was a lion. Pakistan and Bangladesh are also mourning Khamenei. In fact, Pakistan has declared Netanyahu a terrorist. But one person made a very valid point, saying, he is Pakistan's highest civilian owner. And the funniest thing is that anyone involved in this conflict will be beaten up by a Pakistani. Recently, news came that the Americans killed 10 Pakistanis because Pakistanis attacked the US Embassy in Karachi to avenge Khamenei's killing. By the way, at the time strikes were taking place in Iran, such a big conflict was going on, the Taliban were also attacking Pakistanis. In fact, news is coming in that the Taliban has attacked the Norcon base again. After Operation Sindoor, they were working so hard to repair it. The Taliban destroyed it again. So, look, the Congress Party is grieving even more than Tehran and Iran over Khamenei's death. Their leaders are condemning it. Some people are asking how many bags Priyanka Gandhi will now have to carry in parliament. Prominent journalist Rajdeep Sardesai is saying that it's not right to celebrate Khamenei's death. Yes, there is talk of celebration. So, look at how they're talking about the 2001 parliament attack. We entered parliament within 5 minutes of our centering. We heard gunshots and parliament has been attacked by terrorists. One of our first reactions was, my cameraman, sir, let's go. I said, where are we going? We have to stop here. I told him, actually, close the gate of parliament, gate that guard to close the gate, which they were about to do. Why? So that no other channel could enter. So that once our story, and then those days there were few channels also. I said, friend, we have to do this story, you're kidding. Wine, forgotten, kebabs, forgotten, it was a great day, we're like watchers. What did you say? Please listen again. It was a great day. We're like witchers, these people are preaching to us about ethics. What we should do and what we shouldn't do. Sir, you're only fit to box on the streets of New York. Don't talk about ethics with you. It's like Jeffrey Epstein launching a child welfare scheme for girls. After that, our country's unbiased secular journalists are even more unhappy than Iranians. They've dedicated their entire Twitter handles to Khamenei, while they're behaving like Iranians. This lady was chanting Khamenei's name all day. She didn't post so many tweets about Risi or Pulwama. Then these people get sick whenever you accuse them of having dual loyalties. If you're more concerned about Khamenei than the victims of Risi and Pahalgam, won't you be accused of dual loyalties? If Hamza Bai suddenly starts supporting India in the India-Pakistan match, will there be any doubt? The world's most unbiased YouTuber is asking, why isn't Modi stopping this war? Friend, you decide. On the one hand, you say, Modi is powerless. Modi can't do anything. Modi has no power. On the other hand, you're asking, why isn't Modi stopping this war? Some pro-Congress accounts broadcast Congress propaganda 24 hours a day. They keep gloating about Khamenei so much on social media that in the past day or two, a legendary tweet about him appeared, stating that Khamenei's body was completely destroyed in the blast. But his penis is safe because it's in this guy's mouth. Again, people say, brother, Hindus in India should be loyal to the Constitution. They shouldn't have any attachment to any other country. But thousands of Muslims in India have come out on the streets. They are crying and wailing for the leader of a foreign country, more than they ever did for the victims of Pahalgam and Risi. Will our country's unbiased, secular media raise questions about this? Some feminists can't believe that a brutal Islamic dictator could behave like a brutal Islamic dictator. They're saying that Khamenei fought against Israel, so he was a good man. Someone said that he even represented women. Then she's asking Grok, is this true? Asaduddin Owaisi has called Khamenei's death illegal. Ayatollah Khamenei died, and I consider the death of Ayatollah Khamenei an immoral and unlawful act. Yes, that's true. And remove the police for those 15 minutes. We'll show you. This is absolutely legal, isn't it? It's enshrined in Article 15 of the Constitution. People are saying that Khamenei's position has become vacant. Lyndon, there's a vacancy. There are some people in our country who could possibly fit that vacancy. At least the first two people in this photo are completely empty. And now we should talk about China for a minute. Because people all over the world, and some of the opposition in India often glaze over China, saying, China is so much more powerful than India, so much more advanced. How easily it could defeat India in a war. And India is completely powerless in front of China. Well, what happened today? China's two biggest allies, Venezuela and Iran, were attacked by the US, and they were basically overthrown. Instead of taking action, China is releasing videos like this through its state media. He is saying that if America even tries to strike Iran, Israel will be destroyed in half an hour. Meanwhile, Israel has claimed to have achieved complete air superiority over Iran's airspace. So, forget about China's daring. They have already eliminated the supreme leader and achieved complete air superiority. So, I want to ask China, Faisal, when will your blood boil? So, according to the people on TikTok, China is 50 years ahead of America. 5 light years ahead of India, whereas Venezuela slipped out of their hands. Iran slipped out. The jets they provided to Pakistan are being destroyed by Afghan farmers by throwing stones. The air defense systems they provided to Iran behaved exactly like Pakistan's air defense systems behaved during Operation Sindoor. India did this to Pakistan, and Israel is doing the same to Iran. So, China's confidence was basically Vijay Deverakonda's confidence during Liger's press tour. Unfortunately, China's performance turned out to be similar to Liger's box office performance. This means that an average Instagram user has a much larger body count than the number of Indian or Israeli drones intercepted by Chinese air defense systems. So, consider why these strikes happened. Why did this war happen? Why did Israel strike? Why did the US support Israel? Before understanding all this, one thing it's important to clarify that although some people in India are overjoyed that Khamenei has been killed and that the Islamic regime has been destroyed, I want to clarify 2 things. First, we shouldn't be overjoyed because Khamenei and Iran's regime were not enemies of India. Even though it was an Islamic regime, a dictatorship, it was not an enemy of India. They made statements on Kashmir, but they haven't taken any action. On the contrary, they often coordinated and cooperated with India. They had good relations with India. Iran was developing the Chabahar port with India, and it provided economic assistance to India. So, India needn't be so happy because it has also lost a good and relatively reliable partner in this matter. Secondly, it's not necessary that the Islamic regime has ended in Iran. Yes, Khamenei has been killed, and many members of the IRGC, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Council, have also been killed, But this council is still alive, still active, and still controls the Iranian regime. The Iranian government and the Iranian military are much stronger and more entrenched than the Iraqi military and government, and overthrowing them won't be easy. Unless the Iranian people stage a massive popular revolution and overthrow their government themselves, it will either happen through this or Israel and the United States will have to put some boots on the ground. Will they be willing to do this? We'll have to see. So, just say now that the Islamic regime has completely collapsed in Iran. I think this is a bit premature. Secondly, why did Israel carry out this strike? Well, because Israel considers Iran a clear existential threat, and there's good reason for it. In 1979, there was an Islamic revolution in Iran. Since then, Iran has been openly stating that it doesn't consider Israel a legitimate country. This means they have a clear ideological rivalry with Israel. This isn't a normal diplomatic issue. It's an existence issue. Iran's proxies, like Hezbollah, constantly attack Israel and threaten its existence. Iran's revolutionary leadership calls Israel an illegal Zionist regime. Their top leaders often call Israel a cancerous tumor that they say must be uprooted and openly talk about Israel's complete destruction. I mean, it's a very direct threat, man. Ayatollah Khamenei and subsequent leaders have made hostility to Israel a core part of their Islamic Republic's identity. They call Israel the enemy of Islam and Little Satan. According to Israeli policymakers, this isn't just political disagreements, but a direct intention to wipe Israel out of the world. It's a genocidal intention. And because Israel is so small, they already have the terrible pain and memories of the Holocaust. That's why when Iran uses such destructive genocidal language, and on top of that, claims they have long-range missiles and are developing a nuclear program, Israel considers this not just a threat to its national interest, but also a direct threat to its very existence. Israel's security policy in this regard is absolutely clear and brutal. They cannot tolerate any enemy neighbor acquiring nuclear power. History bears witness that they have prevented Iraq from developing nuclear weapons by striking at its Osirak reactor in 1981 and Syria's Al-Kibar reactor in 2007. Now, they are applying the same logic and aggressive strategy to Iran. On top of that, Iran constantly supports proxies like Hezbollah and Hamas, which constantly threaten Israel and talk about wiping it off the map. Reports indicate that Iran possesses more than 15,000 short and medium-range missiles, which can easily reach Israel. America has air defense systems like the Iron Dome, but no system is a 100% shield. If 1,000 missiles are fired simultaneously, even if you intercept 70% or 80%, many missiles could still fall on your cities in your country. So this is Israel's reasoning, whether you agree or not. Secondly, why is America supporting Israel in this? Look, for America, this is obviously not a matter of survival. But for them, it is a game of maintaining their global power and weakening China. A large part of China's economy depends on exports, and their exports depend on various sea routes around the world. Some of the most important ones include the Suez Canal, the Panama Canal, and the Strait of Hormuz, which Iran currently controls. To enhance its power, the U.S. clearly wants to control the world's oil supply. According to the U.S., this is the most solid way to strangle China. They have already seized Venezuela's oil supply by striking. They already have control over Saudi, Qatari, and Iraqi oil, as these are U.S. partner states. They are also currently attempting to force a ceasefire between Russia and Ukraine to bring Russia back into their fold and gain access to their oil. Now, the U.S. faces only one major obstacle: Iran. Once they overthrow the Iranian regime and install a puppet government there, they will gain full control of Iran's oil as well. After this, America will become the owner of most of the planet's oil supply and can cut off China's oil supply at will. This fear will make China think twice before attacking Taiwan in the future, as it will not have access to the level of oil needed for a major military operation. Another major reason for America's regime change in Iran is that it wants to control all the world's major trade routes. The U.S. already controls the Panama Canal and the Suez Canal. However, the state of Homs, a major trading route between Europe, North America, and Asia, is currently in Iran's hands. The U.S. wants to take control of this route as well. What is the state of Homs? It's right between Iran and Oman. About 20% demand this channel sees 20 million barrels of crude oil a single day. Saudi Arabia, Iraq, the UAE, and to export most of their crude this way. And once the US establishes a puppet regime in Iran, they will have control of this trade route as well. They can completely block these trade routes if they wish and completely disrupt Chinese trading access. This will have a very negative impact on the Chinese economy, which is mainly based around exports. And because Trump wants to control major trading routes. That's why you remember, he's been talking about taking Greenland for so many months because Greenland is a major stop on the Arctic trade route. And if you control Greenland, you can also control this Arctic trade route. Sir, if you look at this map of your country, Russia is right next to Alaska. So Russia is already your neighbor, sir. You forgot about Alaska. Trump is ignoring Alaska just like the selectors ignore Sanju Samson in important World Cup matches. So now, the obvious question that's coming to your mind is, can this situation of strikes on Iran and Iran striking back at American bases, escalate into World War III? So, if we look at China's reaction so far, one thing is clear, we're not heading towards a World War III situation right now. Russia has condemned these attacks but has not taken any action. China has also condemned them, but has not taken any serious steps, nor has it promised to take any further action. So, unless these two countries are prepared to take major and serious action against Israel, the United States, or any of their allies in the Middle East, I don't think this tension is going to escalate into World War III. But you have to understand that to start a major war, there doesn't need to be any major event. Even a small spark can start a war. Remember, the assassination of Archduke Ferdinand created a whole world war. No one can say what event could trigger a war in the future, but at the moment, it doesn't seem likely. Another obvious question that might be coming to your mind is, what is India's role here? How can India be affected? So, look, India wasn't buying much oil from Iran anyway. So, as far as oil supply is concerned, it shouldn't be affected much because India has already decided to diversify its oil supply. Now, Iran has closed the Strait of Hormuz, so that will slow down the oil supply a bit. So, it's possible that short-term price shocks could impact oil prices globally. But India can also play a very interesting role in this situation. You'll notice that India has been trying to present itself as a mediator for the past few years. There are very few leaders in the world who can simultaneously talk to Israel, Iran, the United States, and the Gulf countries without officially standing in any one camp. India is one of those unique countries. Modi has already posted the slogan, "This is not a war, it's Buddha's time" on Twitter. So, it's possible that India can play an interesting role as a mediator here. India has a strong relationship with Israel. India also has strong relations with Iran. Iran doesn't consider India an enemy. There's oil trade and a civilizational connection between the two. Then America came along. India-US relations have been gradually deepening over the last 20 years. Whether it's defense agreements, military exercises, or Indo-Pacific coordination, everything is ongoing. India already has a long-standing relationship with Russia. These two are just coming together. The largest portion of India's military equipment is of Russian origin. This means that even in Moscow, Delhi's phone will always be answered, because they just signed a trade deal with them. So, they also have good relations with Europe at this time. Gulf countries like the UAE and Saudi Arabia trade heavily with India. The UAE and India's relationship is particularly close and strategic at this time. So, in a way, India can present itself as a great mediator. At the same time, India is also presenting itself as a leader of the global South. So, it can also talk to countries that do not trust Western mediators. And there has been a recent example of this. If you look at India's role in the Russia-Ukraine negotiations, India has had direct and high-level access to both Putin and Zelensky. India clearly refused to join Western sessions and also provided significant behind-the-scenes assistance in the Black Sea Green Deal. This is proof that India can potentially play a mediator role in this conflict as well. Whether it's Putin or top Western officials like Jake Sullivan of the US, everyone agrees that when India talks to Moscow or Kiev, it's of great value. Everyone is indirectly acknowledging that India has become a channel that others will have to listen to carefully. As for mediation, India previously viewed mediation as an ideal. But today, they view it as a practical statecraft policy. A prime example of this is the India-Middle East Economic Corridor (EMEC), in which India is involved, Saudi Arabia is involved, the UAE is involved, Israel is involved, Greece is involved, and Europe is involved. This means that this IC corridor is being developed through India, building relationships with so many countries that don't necessarily see eye to eye diplomatically or politically. This also reflects India's diplomatic and mediation powers. It will be very interesting to see what kind of role India plays in resolving this conflict, or at least in trying to mediate it. So, tell me in the comments section below, do you think this conflict can be explored further? Could countries like China and Russia also get involved? And what kind of role do you think India will play in this conflict? Please let me know in the comments section below. And if you want to watch a video on the ongoing war in Pakistan and Afghanistan, we released one yesterday. Go check that video out too. I'll see you in the next video. And until then, stay healthy and happy. See you again, and a second's greetings to all of you.